Welcome to this week's Kindness Cafe podcast. Grab a cup of coffee, tea, or your favorite snack, relax, and join us for another uplifting story. I am Seema Raj, your host. From being CEO of his IT company SEVATEC to being the founder and executive director of the SEVATEC Foundation, today's guest is literally rolling around in different cities addressing increasing food insecurity issues facing youth, veterans, and many others in helpless communities. He is no stranger to doing service for others. He has grown up his whole life seeing this all around him. Let's welcome our guest today, Sonny Kakar. Welcome to the Kindness Cafe podcast, Sonny, and thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. The word seva means service or serving a greater purpose in the Punjabi language, and I can see that seva has been a huge driving force in your life. Can you please tell us about that?
First of all, thank you, Seema, for having me on your podcast. I'm happy to be here. Yes, seva has been very near and dear to me, and it's been a part of my core life. Primarily because it's one of the main essence and tenets of the Sikh faith. Sikhs believe in three fundamental principles: living an honest and truthful life, sharing what we have been blessed with others, and remembering that the universal light connects all people as one. Since the inception of Sikhism, Langar Seva has been a primary way that Sikhs demonstrate and practice the faith, which is, and langar means to serve food to anyone in need. And so in every Gurdwara, which is our house of worship, whether you're in India or whether you're in America or anywhere in the world, irrespective of your race, your faith, or your gender, you're welcome to come to the Gurdwara and eat a fresh cooked meal. So yes, to me, the practical application of the Sikh faith happens through action, and that action is primarily seva.
Definitely, Sonny. The Sikh religion is definitely known for their charitable acts of kindness, especially feeding those who need it. And surprisingly, hunger is a huge problem in America too. And that is so scary because America is one of the world's richest countries. But the latest data does show us that COVID-19 has had a huge impact on increasing hunger here. Today, in America, more than 42 million people are experiencing food insecurity. 13 million of them are children. In Maryland alone, more than 70,000 people are struggling with hunger. Once again, 1 in 6 of them being children. It is really sad. But thanks to people like you, Sonny, thousands of children and others are getting a hot, healthy meal. What prompted you to start SEVATEC, kind of like your free Meals on Wheels?
Well, Seema, SEVATEC, first of all, is a registered nonprofit organization. It is dedicated to reducing hunger in our communities by serving nutritious, hot, vegetarian meals to anyone in need. We started SEVATEC in 2016 focused primarily on the DMV area. Because of the statistics that you just pointed out, the level of food insecurity that existed in the DMV was astonishing. You would think that we're in the nation's capital, that there are very wealthy counties across this area and this region, yet the amount of food insecurity was just astronomical, especially amongst children and veterans. So we targeted Title I schools, veteran shelters, and other community centers and churches as our primary partners to deliver this food service. So what does Title I mean? Title I means it's a county designation which is given to a school if 60% of their or more of their students participate in free or reduced meals. And with that, and the way they are eligible for free and reduced meals is based on the financial and economics of their family. So if they are essentially under the poverty line, that's when they get access to these free and reduced meals. So it gives you an idea of how many students and how many children are suffering from the impacts of food insecurity. Now, ironically, these schools, as I mentioned, are in some of the wealthiest counties: Montgomery County, Fairfax County, Loudoun County. And so that is extremely concerning. We tend to go from home to our work and kind of live our day, and these pockets of communities exist all around us. And it really just took for me, the idea of removing the blinders so I could start seeing that these pockets of communities that are really underserved do exist all around us, and what could we do to help them, especially when it comes to providing food service.
That is so true, Sonny. And like you said, it is existing in wealthy counties like Fairfax and Montgomery as well. So to me, it's such a huge accomplishment that now, only 5 years later, you have expanded SEVATEC to 4 cities, including the DMV, Detroit, Michigan, Fremont, California, and Richmond, Virginia. Today, you're serving more than 2,000 meals a week. And not only are you filling children's stomachs, but you're seeing the positive impact it has on their schoolwork also. Can you please explain that, how that works?
Sure, Seema. First of all, it's not surprising that statistics prove that kids who have 3 meals a day do better in school. I think we would all do better at work, and everybody does better when they're not hungry. Consuming something hot and fresh, especially after school, allows them to retain knowledge. Their attendance has increased, it's improved. Schools have started to see huge improvements in their standardized testing and their scores. Some schools have reported some students that were in the bottom 1/3 of the standardized testing in the county are now in the top 1/3. That was only after 2 or 3 years of us coming there consistently. I think even more importantly, it's important for these kids to feel like somebody's looking out for them. They feel loved. They do seem, they're much happier, and these are just validation coming from teachers and the students themselves. So it's very rewarding to see all these positive impacts.
It really is, Sonny. People like you and me cannot even imagine not knowing where our next meal is coming from. So many of us are truly blessed, and we should do our best to help the less fortunate. And that is exactly what you guys are doing 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. How does someone find out where you're located each day if they do need a free meal?
So that's a great question. We do have a daily schedule, which we publish on our website. However, over the last 18 months since COVID, we have not been going to on-site, essentially. So we are cooking our meals in the truck, we're packaging them, then we're delivering them to our partners, and they're safely distributing them. But routinely, and once the COVID restrictions have been lifted, we will be cooking on-site at schools and at community centers. And then we do publish where we'll be and the timing that we'll be there. And people can sign up for that. And so when we do go on site, the students line up. If it's a school, the teachers help organize all the students outside. They let us know how many people are expected there, so we know how much food to prepare. And then they just very, very diligently stand in line, are having fun, and we are cooking, whether it's burritos or quesadillas or pasta or grilled cheese, which is a kid favorite, with tomato soup or whatever. We are providing that through the window, and they're coming by and picking up a hot meal. They'll grab a piece of fruit, some dessert, and a bottle of water, and then they actually go back into school for tutoring or doing homework. And that's where we've been able to see the impact of the improvements in their tests and their scores and their general happiness.
Yeah, I can definitely see where that would happen. To me, it sounds like a lot of work. How many people does it take to do all of this?
Well, we quickly determined that, and I think it's not just for SEVATEC, but for really any nonprofit organization, it's very difficult to have a sustained operation based purely on a volunteer model. So early on, right from the beginning, in fact, we hired staff to support the daily operations of SEVATEC. So one person procures all the groceries and food prep, so that's happening on a daily basis. They maintain the truck, etc. And then we have our operations manager, Carol Barbosa, and she really is a linchpin to this whole organization. She works with each of our partners. She organizes the schedule. She is helping cook on the truck. She makes sure that everything is smooth and provides all the oversight. In fact, in the last year since COVID, we have, and compared to prior to COVID, we have increased the number of meals that we've delivered fourfold. And so Monday through Friday, doing 400 to 500 meals a day. It's all been through her leadership and her dedication. But she's essentially running the entire organization. However, when we do get to a location, 3 or 4 people, maybe 5 people is all we really need in order to cook all the meals and go ahead and distribute them, clean up everything that we have around us. And so those volunteers tend to just show up. They'll either show up through when we advertise it on our website, or they're just the local community. The parents show up, the teachers jump on the truck and help us. And even just other people in the community will regularly show up because they know we're going to be there. So we've never been without volunteers, and that's incredible. Having said that, we got to make sure that we have our full-time staff that support the day-to-day operations. One thing that I've never wanted to ever happen is for us to commit to an organization and not be able to deliver or be there. So we have never missed an event that we had committed to, other than if there was really inclement weather, it snowed or something like that. So that's something we're very proud of, and I hope to continue that level of commitment and that level of consistency.
Yeah, that is so commendable. It's definitely a lot of teamwork. And I am sure they are so appreciative of what you are doing for them, and so much inner happiness for you too, to be able to be in a position to be able to help people who really need it. Having said that, what is your vision for the future of SEVATEC?
That's a great question, Seema. I've often pondered that. When I first started, I'm a believer sometimes you got to just jump in feet first, and then you figure it out afterwards. Like, I bought the truck before I even figured out exactly what the vision was. I figured that once I have the truck, we will figure out a use for it. But originally, after I bought the truck, I figured, you know what, let's come up with a kind of in 20 cities by 2020. Now, that was 4 years to be able to get out in 20 cities. Now, clearly, we haven't been able to accomplish that. But my primary focus now has really shifted to the DMV. I've realized through actually the operations that it's a big commitment. It's challenging. You got to make sure you have consistency, you deliver. And so I'm primarily focused on the DMV. And though we have started in other cities, as you mentioned earlier, we're in Richmond, Virginia, we're in Michigan, we're in California. We have local groups there that have committed. We just help them get started. We help them, with our operations manual. We help them with funding, those kinds of things. But they really operate that independently there with our guidance and our assistance and our best wishes. But within the DMV, we are expanding. So we're looking at a commissary to build out a commissary. And once we have that commissary, then we'll be able to order food in bigger bulk. We'll have better storage facilities. We'll be able to do a larger prep. Then we can get several more trucks. And then from that centralized commissary, be able to deploy multiple trucks all the way from Baltimore and throughout the DMV. And that's what our local mission is. And so a lot of the cities that we've expanded to have been inbound interest. And so anyone who's interested, we've gotten calls from New York, from Arizona, from Texas. We will just support them to get started if they can demonstrate, if they're committed to being able to sustain the service going forward.
That is so amazing. I can't believe that. That is such a great vision. And with the way that you guys are moving forward, I'm sure that your dream will definitely become a reality very soon. I really do wish you the best in your journey and really admire what you're doing to help combat hunger, not only in the DMV, but throughout America now. You have really accomplished so much in just a span of 5 years. Imagine where this is going to go. It is so commendable. I am sure that many of our listeners are already inspired by your journey, Sonny. What message would you like to give to them today on how they can also help others, and how can they find their own journey?
Seema, I feel the most impactful actions your listeners can take is to find an organization or cause that they feel the most passionate about and get engaged. That often is the most difficult. That's the most difficult thing to actually find is which organization that you really feel you can connect with. So go out there, do a little bit of research, and focus on things that bring you tremendous pleasure. To me, it was about food service. To me, it was about bringing, maybe this is the Indian in me. We got to feed everybody, and or my sick, upbringing.
Yes.
I find tremendous pleasure and joy in feeding others, and especially children. And I think if you're passionate about that,
yeah.
then I think that you can really find the right organization that you can commit to and get engaged with. So that's what I would do. And I think that I'm a firm believer that the more you have been blessed with, the more that's expected of you. And the best way to express appreciation for our blessings is to serve somebody else. And so I just encourage the listeners to find something that they love, find an organization that they can practice and engage with that passion, and do something great. I think you're going to find it extremely rewarding.
That is excellent advice, Sonny. I do completely agree with you, and I'm sure the school systems are also very happy with you. Seeing that the kids are doing so much better, that's huge. And I know you are highly motivated and inspired by the sick organization called Khalsa Aid. Can you tell me about that a little bit?
Yes, Nima, thanks for asking. In my view, Khalsa Aid is the most impactful organization in the Sikh community. There's a lot of organizations doing great work, but for me, by far, Khalsa Aid is the benchmark. Wherever there's a world tragedy, a natural disaster, a man-made disaster, a war, these group of incredibly action-oriented people mobilize immediately and provide medical, humanitarian, food service wherever and whenever needed. And it's not just for the Sikh community. It's like anywhere, whether it's in a war-ridden country or there's floods. They will show up there immediately, mobilize, deploy all the resources that they have, and set up camp until that disaster has been remedied. Ravi Singh is the CEO of Khalsa Aid, true role model for me. He was recently nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Anyway, the entire Khalsa Aid organization, they're truly inspirational, and I think they set a model for proactive service.
I think being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize says it all. I think these people inspire all of us. What great examples to live up to. Well, Sonny, I cannot thank you enough for being on my podcast today. You are doing a tremendous deed for people, and what a wonderful role model you are for your own kids. I firmly believe that a child's foundation is the key to their adulthood. May your seva multiply tenfold.
Thank you so much, Seema, for letting me share our story on your podcast today. I do believe that incorporating Seva into your life helps bring purpose and happiness. And so I really appreciate you inviting me today.
Thank you so much, and I completely agree with you. I always say making others happy will definitely make you happy, and I must say that your meals do sound pretty good, all those different dishes. I may have to come and check it out one day myself, just for the heck of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, another inspiring journey is told, leaving us rejuvenated for more and to do our own acts of kindness. We want to thank all of our listeners for joining us today, and I request you to give us your feedback on our podcast. We would love to hear from you. Next time, you'll meet another unique guest and hear their inspiring story. And if any of you have an uplifting story to share, please do contact me directly so we can hear all about it together. So, until next time, stay safe, healthy, and remember, living is giving.